Hello, my loves. It's hard to believe it is already that time, but it is time for the monthly favorites. This month just flew by in many ways, and definitely personally, there's been a real focus on cycles and honoring both the death and rebirth aspect of cycles and journeys, and being given the privilege to be able to witness others as they move through times of transition and transformation, whether that be clients in my work with students and in my readings, or with loved ones, and particularly with pets over this month. So there's been a real sense of tapping into the gratitude of being able to witness people, animals, experiences, and how we are changed by things, and the process of change, the process of transformation, the alchemy of going from one way of being or understanding into another. I've been given a lot of opportunity this month to really honor the power of those experiences and the privilege of being able to be present, not only for my own journey through the liminal, but also for others and for those who are beloveds on the path. So it's brought some interesting decks into rotation, and I want to talk about, obviously, as this title says, my April deck faves, and also just kind of like where the energy is flowing as we move into Beltane, which is one of my favorite Sabbats, and I cannot wait to observe with my peeps this Thursday. Those of you who are joining me, it's going to be quite powerful. And you will see that there's like a definite vibe to the decks this month for sure. But I wanted to start with a flow over from last month, which is RoseBaeTarot's Softest Shade Oracle. Still loving this one, still getting so much out of this personally, and just loving getting to play with this in client readings. There's so many wonderful ways to work with this deck, and now that I'm back at home, I'm going to be able to record my Farther Down the Path video with this deck. So you can be looking for that video later on this week, where I'll really go into how I've been working with her and the power that she has as a clarifier, but also when you work with her with a specific focus and intent. So this is RoseBaeTarot's Softest Shade Oracle. It's an independently created deck. I will do my best to remember to put a link to where to purchase this deck in the description box down below, and there's also loads of other videos on this channel that feature this deck. It's a really, really wonderful deck. So that is a flow over from last month, still in heavy rotation, still right in front of my recording area. I'm still getting so much out of that. Now, I also had the opportunity to work more with the Queen Mab Oracle this month in preparation for the workshop Persephone's Crown, which was a thank you workshop here on the channel that we just finished up. And oh my goodness, has it just reignited my love for this deck. We took a little vacation from each other, but it's been really wonderful to connect back in with her. And I just have such gratitude, not only for the power of the imagery in the cards, but also for the guidebook. The guidebook is just so amazing. Sorry guys, I need a sip of juice. The guidebook is so amazing. It's so insightful, and it's just such a truth teller. It doesn't leave a lot of guesswork for you, especially when you're pulling for yourself. I love this deck in client readings, but I really, really love this deck for my own personal practice and in intensive work like the workshop we just did. As I move through my own calendar year or witch's year, I will often do kind of intensives for myself where I work with a deck in a specific manner, just like the workshop that just was experienced on the channel. And this is one of my favorite decks to do that type of work with, because it really lets you get into the shadow spaces and the places that we can avoid that keep us contained when we're ready for expansion. This is really such a great deck for empowerment, for sovereignty, and for connecting to the many aspects of the sacred feminine. Again, this is the Queen Mab Oracle by Tess Whitehurst. It has some gorgeous, gorgeous, beautiful imagery that is inspiring and impassioned. And again, the guidebook is just so amazing. I really, really highly recommend exploring that deck. It's also mass produced, so it's a little more budget friendly. And if you're new to working with Oracle decks, it's an Oracle deck that's not going to cause you to feel like you're swimming in, or like, not swimming, like you're treading choppy water. Because the guidebook is so clear. It's not too ephemeral. It's not too big picture. The guidebook has a lot to offer as far as concise clarity and actionable steps without including so many rituals that you feel exhausted when you approach the guidebook. So the next deck on the list for April is a newer deck for me, and this is Lennox Rees Folkloric Forest Tarot. This deck is fast becoming a favorite of mine. I'm really feeling connected to the earth element, the forest, the old ones, and the fae right now. And this deck just dovetails and flows with that beautifully. This is an independently produced deck again, as well. And I will also do my best to remember to put the link to purchase this deck down below. I do have an unboxing on the channel, and can I just say that the initial feelings I had have only amplified my love over the last week of working with her. I really, really love this deck. I used it in a lot of my Patreon mini reads this month, and I also used it in some long form client readings, and I've been using it personally with just so much joy. It is such a gorgeous deck. It's so beautiful. And oh my God, the aces and the core cards, Lennox just knocked them out of the park. The images are so crisp, so clear. There's no fuzziness, which is a welcome relief after some recent unboxings. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful deck. I'm so very, very grateful to have a deck like this in my collection, and it really is giving me that kind of folk horror, forest, whispers in the woods vibe, and this sense of connection to animal guides. And I've been working a great deal with animal guides personally. I was sharing that with my Patreon peeps this month as well, that I've really been feeling connected to spirit animal energy in general, and it's brought such a sense of healing and presence to my own mourning process over the last week as well, to keep an eye out for the animals that I'm seeing in my daily life, and knowing that those are guides and messages and symbols for me, and that they represent something that I can tap into to assist me through moving through an experience. And so this deck is it's very close to being my favorite deck of the month, but I do have a favorite deck of the month, but I think this one might be second because it was, this deck is awesome. If you're at all drawn to the artwork, I think you will get something out of it. Lennox makes amazing decks. So this caused me to pull out, of course, I always forget the name of this one, so give me a second. Tarot of the Huntress by Cara Small, another independently produced deck, also a more woodland forest friendly deck. This though seen through the lens of Artemis and Athena. And I too love this deck, and I pulled it out because of the Folkloric Forest, and I was like, how have I forgot how amazing this deck is? I will put the link to the Etsy shop below if there are still copies available. This was a limited release independently produced deck, and so it may not still be available, but I will put the link to the shop on Etsy anyhow, so that you can explore the other options, because this creatrix makes some beautiful decks that are absolutely gorgeous, and this deck is so yummy, and it's so forest, it's so Artemis and Athena. It's all about that kind of expansive feminine maiden essence, and it's so much fun to work with this. It reads like a charm, and again, it has some of that spirit animal guide essence as well, with these little peaks of kind of celestial almost like a Valkyrie feel I get. So this is, already forgot it again, guys. Tarot of the Huntress by Cara Small. And the Etsy shop is the Chthonic, I think it's the Chthonic Forest, but I will put the link in the description box down below because this deck is really special. And if you're drawn to it and it's still available for purchase, it is a limited release. Okay, so next on the list is the Magick of You Oracle by Fiona Horn. I use this in the mini monthly outlooks. And again, I was like, oh my God, for Patreon, excuse me, my mini monthly outlooks for Patreon. And I was like, this deck is so amazing. And I often have it out on my deck, on my desk here, because it is kind of a deck that I can always, it's much like Earth and Bone Oracle. I can always turn to this deck in client readings. And it gives a message of empowerment, a message of sovereignty, but it also clarifies tarot really well. So I use this a ton in my client work this month. And then I was very drawn to use it in my long form recorded videos, and also to kind of play with it for myself, to be playful with this deck. You know, I'm not necessarily using it for daily draws this month, but when I feel called to, I'm just pulling a card as a message from whichever goddess I'm feeling aligned with, and a reminder on my path as a priestess and witch. It's such a great one if you walk a pagan path. It's very inspiring. And much like the card backing, if you're called to work with Hecate or Persephone at all, I think this is a wonderful option to connect with those two faces of the goddess. Okay, so next on my list are the twins. I say that because I just finished reading Rachel Harrison's novel, Such Sharp Teeth, and there are twins in that story, and I just felt a little cheeky and wanted to call these two guys the twins. So they're currently bound because I had to travel with them over the last few days. So this is Brian Froud's Faeries Oracle, and I believe this is still out of print, Brian Froud's Heart of Faeries Oracle. I'm feeling a little bit more connected to the Faeries Oracle at the moment, and I always do this time of year at the kind of polarities of the Wheel of the Year, when we have Beltane and Samhain. For both of those Sabbats, I really love to work with the Faeries Oracle. I just feel like it's so very, well, first of all, it's obviously so very Fae in its essence, but it also has that lusty, earthy, fertile vibrancy in these rich, earthy tones that I think of when I connect with the essence of Beltane and all of its beauty. And so, yeah, this one's just very, very, very special. And the guidebook is, if you want to understand how to work with any deck in your collection well, the introduction in that guidebook is perfection. And when it comes to connecting with the Fae as well, it's a wonderful introduction to building relationship with non-corporeal entities. It's a wonderful introduction to it. So outside of even just the guidebook meanings, the guidebook itself is a wonderful tool for those who may be new to a path of witchcraft. Now, the Heart of Faeries has a heart-based, relationship-based focus to it, but I don't always use it for relationship-based readings because I love this deck so much. This deck has been through it with me, and unfortunately I do not have a backup copy of her, so I need her to keep going. She's covered in different forms of wax on her backings, and as you can see, quite weathered at this point around the edges. But there's just again, it's a sense of working with a best friend, and it's very indicative of Beltane, particularly for me. You can see where some of the bottom has peeled up on the Smith. Another good guidebook. It's not as amazing as the Faeries Oracle, but it's a nice jumping off point. And I think this is one of those decks that you really do develop your own relationship with over time, particularly for me, because like I said, I don't only use it for romantic readings, romance readings anymore, or for romantic relationship pull. I really use it as a general deck, and I do see it as the sibling to the original Faeries Oracle. So both of these are out right now, and they will continue to move me through Beltane into the beginning of May for sure. And you can see how they are going to work very nicely with the Folkloric Forest as well. So the next two, as well as the Folkloric Forest, will probably be my 3 favorites for this month. This is the Linestrider Tarot. Seems to be a polarizing deck I've found over the years, which is very interesting to me, but I love this deck, and I particularly love it in April and May. It just feels like spring to me, and spring has come here so late this year that it's only been the last week or so that I've had the reminder to go to my my shelf where my vacation decks live and pull her out. But every time I work with her, I just love this artwork so much. This deck is another really great friend. We've been friends for so long that it's so easy to read with her. It's such a, again, it's such a spring feel to me in the tones and the imagery. I love that there's not too much going on in the images as well. And there is a spirit animal guide aspect to this deck that is just one of my very, very favorite things. Next on the list, and the #1 deck for the month of April for me, is the Lost Oracle by Fiona Horn. This deck is a most beloved bosom companion, a kindred spirit, and a soulmate on the journey. I cannot ever express my gratitude fully enough to the viewer, and as well as a wonderful friend who also recommended this deck to me. It is indicative of the witch's path for me. It's so, I love everything about it. I use it all the time. It's always out either on my display, kind of witchy shelving in my kitchen, or it's on my working desk, excuse me. We did take a brief break over the winter, but oh my God, we are back at it, and I love it. I'm loving every second of it. I used it a great deal in my Patreon peeps mini reads this month, and I've been using it every day personally. It's one of those ones that I have to carry it with me. It's got to come everywhere with me. And I just love her so much. She just feels like the joy, the aliveness, the fertility, but also the death magic of my practice. This deck just has no fear. The guidebook's amazing. If you're new to working with cards, this is going to be user-friendly. If you're a seasoned reader, you can connect and expand and expound on your practice with this deck very easily. It's one of my absolute favorite decks of all time, and it is my most used deck in April. I'm so glad that our connection is reinvigorated, and it is just, it's so inspiring. Nothing makes me want to, engage in some good ritual tool work and spell crafting and just gorgeous witchy beauty than this deck. It's amazing. I really cannot recommend it enough. And if you're called to explore it, I would definitely encourage you to. It's mass produced, so it's easily accessible. And this is another deck where if you are new to working with cards, like I previously said, this is a wonderful option. Very user-friendly, but you can be an advanced reader and still get a lot out of her. Not only is she great for ritual work and daily draws, connection with goddess, she's also great for clarifying tarot and being the crown or the theme pull for a larger reading. Absolutely beautiful. My #1 most used deck in April. Let me know what you guys use this month, what your favorites were, if we have anything in common, how you're feeling about the Queen Mab Oracle too. I would love to hear that. I am sending each and every one of you, as always, oceans of love, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.